Hey guys, so you're building a new house, or maybe you're just remodeling or putting an add-on on, but you want a good contractor. Whether you're being your own general contractor and you're going to have to vet several other subcontractors, or if you're just going to have to worry about settling down with one general contractor and let him do the work for you, you're still going to need a lot of information before you decide on who you're using. Now, one of the questions you can ask him or her is, how long have you been in business? The longer somebody's been in business, the better the sign is, because they have been doing this long enough that if they weren't good at what they do, they wouldn't still be around. And they've seen the ups and downs of different builds. They know what problems come up and how to handle those problems. And so they could do a good job for you. Long time in business isn't always the best way to vet a contractor. I mean, somebody that's been in the business for a year or two may have been with somebody else and still know the ups and downs of your job and have somebody that helps them do their work. So just ask and use your gut instinct. People that have been around a long time usually do a good job, but they can also have a bad reputation. So what do you do? Another question that you could ask to supplement that question is, can I see your portfolio? Now, I have a video for contractors in my YouTube channel that says just that thing. A portfolio is the best thing you can do as a contractor to let people see how well you do. So if they don't have a portfolio, that's, to me, a red flag that there's something wrong there, because who doesn't want to show off their work if they're good, right? So that's something that's important to me. And the better the portfolio, the better I like it. But that's up to you. Again, gut instinct helps you with that as well. But before, during, and after photos, photos similar to what you are wanting would help a lot. And another thing that would be good is listen to his lingo he uses. Does he use lingo that you have to ask a question about? Say if I say, well, we're going to build your retaining wall out of CMU. Do you know what CMU is? Well, if you don't, you still know that he's a good contractor because he's using that word, but then you have to ask, what is CMU? And instead of telling you, are you an idiot, you don't know what CMU is, he should tactfully explain, oh, I'm sorry, it's block. You would probably call it cinder block, but it's not really a cinder block. It's concrete masonry unit. So that's another way you can kind of feel out your contractor. Now, if they're using those words just because they're high and mighty and it's like, oh, are you an idiot? You don't know what a CMU is? Then you probably wouldn't want to use them, because they're going to talk down to you from now on as well. So ask for their portfolio. Ask for references, and you really need to contact at least one of those references, if not all of them. And that way you can pretty much tell what kind of person your contractor is. Ask him, who is going to be in charge of my job? That's an important one too. And he doesn't have to be on your job all the time. A good contractor probably won't be on your job all the time because he's so good, he's spread thin. So he will have somebody on your job, and you need to find out who that is, whether it be a supervisor or a foreman or another subcontractor. You need to know who that person is, and you need to ask who he is and ask to meet that person before any job starts. That way you can know if you click with that person as well, because it's important to be able to have a relationship with your contractor and who your contractor hires. So you can also ask a contractor, what kind of insurance do you have? No insurance, no contractor. That I would make sure that you remember of all these questions and of all these things to think about, to make sure 100% he or she is insured. Now, an insurance costs a lot of money. Insurance cost me about $7,000 a month just for the insurance. But you're protected. You're protected from any accidents that I may have stupid fly. Any accidents that I may have on the job with my tractor, with my truck, one of the guys dropped something through a window on accident, those are all protected under my liability insurance. And if one of my guys falls off a scaffold, you don't have to pay for his injuries. My insurance will pay for his injuries. 100%, no doubt about it. He may be a little more expensive than the guy without insurance, but in the long run, it's going to save you a lot of headache if something happens on that job, because if somebody falls off a roof, you're liable for it if they don't have insurance. So it's 100% make sure they have insurance. Make sure they use a contract. If they don't use a contract, don't use the contractor. And I'm not talking about, I've seen people say, oh yeah, I have a contract. It's right here. Let me write it out real quick. This is what we're going to do, blah, blah, blah. No. Do not fall for that. It may hold up in court, but you want at least 2 or 3 pages, if not 20 pages, of what this contractor is going to do, how he's going to do it, how you're protected, how they're going to protect your pets that are at home, how they're going to protect your furniture if they're inside the house, how they're going to protect themselves. You want all that in writing. You're going to ask him, another thing you're going to ask him or her is, what is your payment? How do you think you're going to get your payments? Now, I will tell you, a lot of people keep saying, and I see it on the internet all the time, don't give them any money before it's done, and don't give them any money until it's done. That's not going to work. Most of the time, you're not going to get a contractor that's going to let you get away with that, because he needs to be protected as well. This is a give and take, this money is. And so there will be a down payment, most likely. If there's not, there will be progress payments until the work is done. They're not going to wait for their money until they're done, and you're going to have to pay something. And he could float your job. You may just have a small little job that you want done, a pergola built or a retaining wall built, and it doesn't cost that much. And if he trusts you, he's probably going to say, oh, I can float this job. No problem. But if you don't pay, then he's up a creek. So most of the time, it depends on your state. Most states have regulations as to how much, and you need to do your homework and find out how much they charge for a down payment. California, I think, is like 10 or 15%, but here in Texas, there's not a limit. I could ask for the whole thing if I wanted to. I'm not going to, and I wouldn't recommend you pay the whole thing either. In fact, I say no, do not pay all of the money up front. It depends on the size of the job and who I'm doing it for, I will ask up to 50%. Now, it may be as little as 10%. It may be nothing at all. But one thing is for sure, somewhere down the line, you're going to have to pay before the job is over. So make sure you know what that payment schedule is before you hire him, because if you can't handle the payment schedule, and the bank isn't going to finance that payment schedule, you need to know that before the whole thing starts, so that there's no conflict of interest there. And there could be. That's one of the biggest things that causes conflict between a homeowner and a contractor, is the money situation. So get that out of the way right away. So these are just a few of the questions you can ask. You can ask to make sure they know that your HOA won't let them work till 9 o'clock. And makes them stop at 5. Most contractors like to start a lot earlier than that and stay a lot later than that, and work some weekends and work some holidays. So if your HOA doesn't let you do that, you need to make sure your contractor is going to work with you with that. But anyway, that's just a few of the things that will help you vet your contractor. If you have any more questions, be sure to drop them in the box down below and ask that question. Tell me what you'd like to see on some more videos about contractors and homeowner relationships, and we will get those out there as soon as possible. And please like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the questions that I answer. And y'all have a great day. Brick Lady is signing off.